Hello everyone. This video is continuing on from lesson number 1. At the end of lesson 1, we had imported the Steam VR plugin into Unity from the Asset Store. I've reopened that project. Notice that I have Steam VR running. My headset's ready. I've got one controller connected. And when I open the project, it says recommend project settings for Steam VR. So I'm going to click accept all. Let's configure the project for Steam VR. I've gone into Steam VR, interaction system, samples, and this scene here, interactions example. This is a free scene that Valve provide with examples of their VR interactions. So I'm going to click play to run this scene. Okay, it says, it looks like you haven't generated actions for Steam VR input yet. Would you like to open the Steam VR input window? So let's click yes to set that up. We'll click accept all here. That's already come up. Now let's have a look at this window, Steam VR input. This is going to configure Unity so that the VR controllers will send messages correctly to the Unity input system. So I'm going to click save and generate. I believe you only have to do this once at the start of a project, and once it's been created, it will work from then on. It's putting some messages out to the console here to tell you what it's doing. It says it's creating input script classes. Okay, I think it's finished. Let's accept that. And I think we can close this now. All right, let's play the game. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, I've got my VR headset here. And I have a controller. Let me maximize this view so you get a better view. Let's go. Access. Okay, so now you can see what I'm seeing. So let's look. It says teleport. Use the joystick. So I'm going to flip the joystick up, aim at one of the targets, and it teleports me there. I can use the joystick to turn around as well, pushing the joystick left and right. Now this is a Windows MR controller. The HTC Vive controllers don't have a joystick. For them you use the touchpad. So you can see I can also teleport to this area over here. This area is red, I can't go there. This area, it turns green. When I release it, teleports me there. So I'll show you how you can edit these teleportation zones for your own game so you can teleport anywhere you like. Let's pick something up. Okay, so let's go to throwing over here. There's a teleport zone there. Okay, move with velocity. These objects move to where your controller is using velocities. They will not pass through other objects. Let's try one of these. Okay, I'm going to pick this one up. So I pull the trigger to grab the object, and then I can throw it. Okay. Parent to hand. These objects are parented to your hand, and they will pass through static objects. Let's try one of these. Okay, I'm going to reach out and pick this up. And if I let go of the controller, it drops. So you can create gameplay using any of these objects. Let's see, this is a linear drive. Okay, I'm going to grab this object, and when I move it left and right, it manipulates that one. So this would be very good for controls or machines. Okay, now let's take some of these objects and put them in our own scene if we wanted to create an original game. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, I'm back in the sample scene. This is the scene I made at the end of the first video, which contains the FPS controller. The FPS controller has a camera on it, so we can delete the old main camera that Unity gives you by default. We can play this outside of VR, so if you don't have a VR headset and you want to lay out your scene and test it, you can go to the project settings, XR settings, and then instead of having open VR at the top, you can slide none to the top. Now when you play the game, it will play it out of VR. So let's hit play. Alright, now I've got mouse control to look, and WASD to walk around. So you can lay out your scene if you don't have a VR headset like this. If you do have a VR headset, you can switch it around and play it in VR. Let me show you how you do that. Let's put OpenVR back on top. Now we'll bring in some of the controls from Valve's prefabs that let us set up VR. So I'm going to the Steam VR folder. I'm going to go to samples, prefabs. And let's see, they have a throwable ball in here. We'll use one of those. Let's put one of those in. Let's get the player. Where's the player? Core, here it is. Interaction system, core, prefabs. Here's the player. So the player contains the camera rig, the hand controllers, everything you need to have a VR player. So let's put this in the scene. Let's just check it's at 0, 0. Yep. So the player is quite complex. It's got audio, user interface stuff. It's got the hands, the camera. Everything is set up here for the player. We would like to be able to teleport around in the scene. So we'll need to get a teleportation zone. Now, as far as I know, Valve don't provide you with a prefab for this, so we're going to copy one out of the sample scene. So let's save this scene. Let's go to Valve's interaction system, samples, and this scene here, interactions example. So this is going to go back to the scene with all the demonstration objects, and we'll grab one of the teleportation zones from this. So let's go to teleport, and here's a teleport area locked. We'll copy this. So I'm hitting Control C, or you can go Edit, Copy, and then I go back to my previous scene. So let's go back to Scenes, Sample Scene, and then I'll paste. So I can right click here, paste. So that has added this teleport area locked. Let's take a look at how it works. So I'm going to play now. My project settings have got VR on top, so it's going to play in VR. Okay, now something's wrong. I forgot a step. I noticed that the camera's in the wrong place and my hand is way down there. See that? So that probably means I forgot to disable the other camera. You must only have one camera in your scene when you're playing in VR, so we should disable the FPS controller. So all you do is go to the inspector and turn it off. So when you're playing in VR, you must have only one camera, otherwise you'll be offset when you play the game. So let's try it again. Click play. Good, now my hand is right in front of my face. I'm getting a proper view. Notice, by the way, if I pull the triggers, it actually animates the hand. So there's the teleportation zone over there. If I push the joystick upwards to teleport, it's not working. So I haven't got all of the necessary scripts for teleporting in. I've only got the zone. I haven't got all the animations in the other scripts, so I've forgotten something else. So let's go back to Valve's interaction system. What else is here? Resources. Teleport, here we go. So let's go interaction system, teleport, prefabs, and here's teleporting. So let's bring in the entire teleporting system. So this contains all of the sound effects and scripts and additional stuff to make teleporting work. The teleporting area is just the target that you're going to land on. Let's play again. Okay, I'm going to push the joystick up now. Okay, so the teleporting system is working now. When I push the joystick up, you see it's giving me a prompt telling me how to use it. I push the joystick up, it vibrates, we get the target, but this zone is locked, it won't let me go there. So let's enable this teleport zone. I'm just hitting Control P to toggle play mode. So this teleport area is quite obviously locked, it's called locked. Let's just rename it, teleport area. Now to actually unlock it, you go to the inspector, scroll down to the bottom and find the teleport area component and turn off locked. This now lets you land on it. So I'll show you the difference. I'll duplicate this. I'll have one here, which will be unlocked, and one beside it, which will be locked. Let's set this one to teleport area locked and play. Okay, there's my hand. So we don't see the teleport zones until I push the joystick up. When I push it up, you'll see the orange one. I can't go there. Blue one is unlocked. We get a preview of where you're going to land. So if I release, it teleports me over there. And I can use the joystick to turn around. There's that throwable ball over there. I'm going to use that in a moment. So I'm free to teleport around inside this zone. There's one other kind of teleporter. If you want the player to snap to a specific location, rather than being free to move anywhere in the scene, you can use one of these, a teleport point. So let's bring in a teleport point here. To make it a little bit easier to see, I'm going to make the floor bigger. And I'm going to make it a bit darker because the bright white is going to be difficult to see. So let's make a material. I'll create a new folder for materials. And then we'll make a floor material. So create material. I'll just make this a little bit darker. Put it on the floor. And now we'll be able to see the teleport zones more clearly. Let's also just fix the lighting. So I'm going to go to Window, Lighting, Rendering Lighting. Notice everything is kind of a beige color. It should be brighter. So I'm going to turn on Auto Generate Lighting, and that should fix that. Okay, so the player's right here in the middle of the world. The teleport point is there. There's the two teleport zones. Let's move the teleport point up so that it's not underground. There. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Now, you don't see the teleport point until you push up. Then you see this glowing area. Notice how the teleport target snaps straight into it. So this is really great if you want the player to snap to a specific location. Here we are. Just turn around. I'm using the joystick here to turn around. Oh, it's not teleporting me to that point. Perhaps it's locked. No, there we go. It's teleporting me now. Okay, let's add some gameplay. So I would like to make a simple game where we pick up this ball and throw it at something and try to break something, for example. So let's create a little desk or table to hold the balls on. So I'll go Game Object 3D Cube. Scale it down a little. Now, by default, the player's facing forward Z, which is the blue axis you see there. So I'll put this table beside me. About here, we'll put it up at 1 meter. And I'll put some of these throwable balls on the table. Let's just lift it up here. Again, I'll make another material to make this easier to see. So let's make the table light blue. Okay, I'll use Control D to just create some copies of this. Control D is duplicate. Let's see if I can pick these up. Now, one more thing, I'll put a teleport area around where the player spawns. So Control D to duplicate that, and we'll just put this here. In fact, I'll put it right on 0. Notice it's a little bit above the ground. That's a good idea so that you see it. If you have the teleport area below the ground, the player might not be able to see it. So it seems that they default to 0.05. Let me see the other ones. Yeah, 0.05 in Y. So it's just above the ground. Let's play this and see if I can pick up these balls and throw them. Okay, here's the table to my left. I'll use the joystick to turn. I'll teleport over here. And I'm going to reach out and pick up one of these things. And it works. I can throw it. My computer's in the way here. I need to teleport closer. Okay, now I can pick these up. And I think they hit each other. Yes, they do. All right, let's add a little bit of gameplay so we can throw the ball at a target and hit the target. All right, let's add some targets to the scene so we can throw the ball at the target, and if it hits it, it'll destroy it. So I'll just make some cubes. Let's go 3D Object Cube. Call this a target. Let's put it in a good location Perhaps just over here behind the table would be good. Scale it down a bit. Let's make a material for this. Target, make it red. Put it on the target. Okay, the idea here is that you'll throw the ball at the target, and if you hit it, it'll just disappear. Let's put it just above the ground. And we'll need to add a script to it to make it respond to the ball hitting it. So I'm going to turn this into a trigger so that the ball can enter the trigger. It'll call a function called onTriggerEnter, and we'll use that to destroy the cube. So I'll need to go to the collider here and tell it you're now a trigger. Trigger lets the ball enter the cube, and it triggers a special script. Let's create a script to catch that event. So I'll create a folder for scripts. And then we create a C# script called target. Okay. So Unity has a function called onTriggerEnter, which gets called whenever a collider enters a trigger. So I'm going to use that in here. I'm going to delete start and update. We don't need those. I'm going to say onTrigger. Now this is Visual Studio Code, and it has all the headers for the Unity functions predefined, so I just need to click on that and it fills it out for me. So if you have Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code and you just start writing the name of a function, like on collision, it will look it up and finish it for you. You can just hit tab or click the mouse on it and it'll fill in the header. So if something enters this, we're going to destroy it. So I say destroy, and then in here I say this.gameObject. So we'll destroy this game object. So that means the ball that hits the cube will cause it to destroy. So the cube itself is going to be destroyed, not the ball. Let's save this. Let's put the script on the target. Like that. Okay, I'm going to play the game and throw the ball at the cube and see if it destroys it. Okay, so they're right here. I'll grab one of these and I'll throw it over that way. And there it goes, it disappeared, you see. So let's duplicate a few more of them. Now, I could get the script to also destroy the ball so that you can't throw one ball and break multiple targets with it. Let's do that. So let's have, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the throwable balls. So let's make 5 targets. 4, 5. I'm just using Control D again just to duplicate these. Okay, let's go back to the script. And I'll tell it, don't just destroy this, destroy the other ball as well. So we'll just see here in the header it says you get a link to the collider for the other object, so we'll destroy that. Destroy other.gameObject. So this game object means the script, or rather the object that this script is applied to, which is the target. And the other game object is whatever just entered the trigger, which will be the ball. Let's save that, go back to Unity. I'll move this down a little bit so we get a better view. This one. Where's the other one? There. Okay. Right. So I'm spawning right inside this table, but that's okay. Let's throw this. And now notice that when the ball hits the target, they both disappear. So now we have the basis of a game. We could make a basketball game or some kind of throwing or target game using this script. Let me show you finally how you could test this without VR. So many of you are going to be working at home without a VR headset. You want to make an interesting scene that I can play and test in VR. So let me show you how you could do that. Let's go back to the project settings. We'll switch from OpenVR to none. So now it's going to play without VR. I'll turn off the player. I'll put the FPS controller back on. And also, I'm going to make the game view separate from the scene view down here, because we will want to manipulate the scene view to test the game. So if I play now, it should play in FPS mode outside of VR. Okay, so now I can look around and walk, but I don't have the VR controller, so I can't pick up this ball. However, what I can do is hit escape and bring the mouse cursor over here to the scene view. Now you can continue to play the game and manipulate the objects in the scene view. So if I pick up one of these and bring it over here, you can see it still triggers the destruction. So we can fake the player's input by grabbing the ball, bringing it over. I can give it a little push, and as soon as it touches the target, it destroys it. So you can test your VR interactions outside of VR, and they'll still work. The scripts will still work fine. Okay, I will save this project and put this up on the canvas as well, so you can use this as a template for building your future VR games. If you've got any questions about this, if you're trying to make it yourself and you need help, you can ask me questions in the class Discord. Okay, thanks for watching.